विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very good. Thank you so much, Nirbhatu. Okay. So, Okay, Hare Krishna. So we will finish our Bhagavad Gita chapter today. So let's say some prayers very quick. Okay, we'll say some prayers very quick. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले
स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मायं
क्रान्तिकम्
दधि स्वपदान्तिकम्
वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापत्कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागण रघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
श्री
श्रीराधाकृष्णापादं
राधा कृष्ण पदं
ललिता
सना ललिता
श्रीतांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु
करुणा
दीनबन्धो
सिन्धु
जगत्पते
दीनबन्धो जगत्पते
गोपिका कान्ता
गोपेश
राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरं गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय नाथाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा thank you everyone for joining. We had a very blissful morning program, Mangal Aarti and Kirtan. I don't think I'm deserving of this. Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Hari Bol Hare Krishna. Okay, so we will finish our Bhagavad Gita chapter 13. That is pending. Just a few verses more to go, and then we'll talk a little bit about God Purnima because God Purnima is coming up soon. Okay, so we finished till verse 31st. If you remember, this was the verse where Krishna says, when a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains the Brahman conception, right? Everyone remembers that we talked about um, the true spiritualist transcendentalist sees that there is Paramatma inside everybody, right? So he goes above and beyond the material conception, bodily conception, and attains to the Brahman conception. So what does that mean? He attains to the Brahman conception. Anybody can answer? So the verse 31st says that this spiritualist who sees Paramatma in everybody and rises above the material conception, he sees that jivas are just being expanded everywhere. He attains the Brahman conception. So what does that mean? Brahman conception.
Is it that such a person is transcendental and transcendental to the modes of material nature, and he attains a Brahman conception once he sees everybody as part and parcels of the Lord and sees the Paramatma in everybody. So as Paramatma expands his Shiva Daksha Vishnu, Krishna expands into every living and non-living being. So they see everything as parts of the Lord and gives such respect to everybody. And in that connection, we also remember that because right now we are having all these wars and everything. So they said that if everybody was at the true platform of such understanding, then there would not be such wars because everybody will see God in everybody. Everybody would not have any differences that this is my country, your country. they will see the similarity more, that everybody is part and parcel of the Lord, and that will eliminate the differences and thus create more peace and unity.
Right, that's perfect. Yeah.
I think that
Yes, Prabhuji.
in Hare Krishna, I think the same concept what Prabhuji is saying is about like Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunisheva Sopakecha Pandita Samdarshina. So basically, ones who has all the knowledge, the one who is known as Pandita, they basically see everybody is the same. There's no difference because what he's saying is the Paramatma part, not the bodily part. It's basically the life inside the body. That's what he's saying or she is saying.
Yes, Hari Bol. So I think both of you, Nirbhay Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, thank you so much. You summarized everything very nicely. So Brahman is a platform for our new people. Brahman is a spiritual platform, right? Brahman is above the three modes of material nature, where there is no chains of the three modes, right? Three gunas do not control us. Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna don't control anybody in that Brahman platform. So even though this person is in a material body right now, but he understands the true knowledge. He understands that Jivatma is part and parcel of Krishna. That Paramatma is present inside everything and every body along with the Jivatma. So the person who understands this, even though he's right now in a material body, he will be situated on that transcendental Brahman platform, meaning he will be already liberated soul. He will be a true transcendentalist. So that kind of person has nothing to lament. He does not hanker after mundane things like power. Like Nirbhay Prabhu was saying, there are all these wars. Why? Because we are seeing the mundane differences between people, right? So we want power, we want fame, we want more money, we want a more name for ourselves, right? So when such person rises above these kind of bodily differences, he understands that I am a mere servant of the Lord. Then he will have no further hankerings, no further lamentations, no desires, right? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. And such a person is Prasannatma, meaning he is very, very joyful. He's always in bliss because he is situated on a very high platform. He's above the three modes of material nature. So that is a spiritual vision. That is a Brahman vision. The material vision is to differentiate based on the body. Right, this is an animal, this is a plant, this is a lower caste, upper caste, this religion, that religion, male, female, this nationality, right? All these differences based on the politics and social things. That is a very material vision. So a true transcendentalist understands that all bodies are the same. They're all made up of these five Panch Mahabhut, right? Five main material elements. And they're just different volumes and shape. So that five same elements are shaped into a female, into a male, into a Muslim, into a Hindu, into an American, into a Indian, everything. They're all just five elements. So they're all made of, but the souls are all made of same spiritual substance. The souls are all part and parcel of the Krishna. So that person cannot exploit anybody, right? He will not exploit, he will not hurt, harm anybody. And then we talked about how we have to understand that we are parts of Krishna, but acknowledge the bodily differences and treat everybody with compassion, kindness, according to the body that has been allotted to them for this lifetime, right? So, okay, if somebody is in a female body, then it is the duty of the society to protect that as a female, right? To show proper respect as a mother or as a daughter, as a sister. If it is animal body, then doesn't mean that okay, I'm going to kill that animal and eat it. No, the animal body is also has Paramatma inside, Jivatma inside. So we have to respect that and show compassion to everybody. So that is a spiritual vision. The material vision is an enjoyer tendency, that I am the enjoyer. So I will enjoy and exploit everybody for my means, for my gratification, sense gratification. That is a very low kind of thinking, low consciousness. So human beings are divided into various consciousness, right? You start from lowest consciousness, where somebody is just like an animal, has no cultural values, no ethics, no morality, right? Exploiting people, committing sinful acts, very, very low base consciousness. And then consciousness evolves even in the human species. It is said that there are 400,000 different type of human consciousness. So we always say that there are 8.4 million species, right, through which we rotate. But actually, even as a human, we can have different types of consciousness, starting from a very low base, very nikrisht, animal-like consciousness, and going up to the highest consciousness, which is that of a Brahman or that of a Vaishnava. So here they're talking about a consciousness of a Brahman or a Vaishnava, very, very high, elevated position. Okay, so and it doesn't mean that if you are born in a one particular consciousness in human life that you cannot advance. Yes, you can. Anybody who was at a very, very low level, let's say they were completely immersed in sense gratification, they were just doing drugs and alcohol and eating meat and committing sins, like Jagai Madhai, right? Jagai Madhai is the example of very, very low consciousness. But even they advanced to the perfect highest level of consciousness just by the mercy of Nityanand Prabhu. So you can advance from the lowest level to the Vaishnava consciousness. And that is what we are trying to do with the help of our gurus, our other devotees or Vaishnavas, with the help of scriptures, with the help of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. We are trying to advance our consciousness. So we are not me-centered consciousness, self-centered consciousness, fulfilling our own self-desires, but a Krishna consciousness where we are trying to please Krishna and his devotees at all times. So that is the advanced, highest level of consciousness. So we should always introspect inside and see if we are really advancing in our consciousness or not. So that is a Brahman position, Brahman situation. So let's read next couple, and we have 4 more shlokas to go. So let's read all of these. Can somebody read number 32? Let's recite and then we'll read. So Bhagavad Gita 13.32. अनादित्वान् निर्गुणत्वात् परमात्मायम् अव्यया
परमात्मायम् अव्ययः
शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय
शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय
न करोति न लिप्यते.
न करोति न लिप्यते.
Okay, would someone like to read this translation?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature, despite contact with the material body. O Arjuna, soul neither does anything nor is entangled.
Very bold. We'll read one more and then discuss. So Bhagavad Gita 13.33. यथा सर्वागतं सौक्ष्म्याद् आकाशं नोपलिप्यते
नोपल्यते
सर्वत्र वा स्थितो देहे
देहे
तथात्मानोपलिप्यते.
तथात्मानोपल्यते.
Okay, can somebody read this translation?
Haribol Mataji, I can read.
Yes, Mataji.
Haribol. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it's all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, those situated in that body. Haribol.
Very bold. So let's take these two together, 13.32 and 33. So both are, if you see in the Sanskrit, the word lipite is coming. That lipite means to get entangled in something, right? So look at these two verses. So the first verse is saying that those with the vision of eternity. So we just talked about what is the Brahman vision or vision of eternity, a spiritual vision, right? A true transcendentalist vision, very, very high consciousness, right? Brahman or Vaishnav consciousness. That person can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, meaning beyond the 3 modes, eternal, right? Eternal meaning Sat, right? Sat, or has no birth and no death. right? It cannot be harmed, it is imperishable, it has no birth and no death, and beyond the modes of nature. So it actually means all three things mean the same thing, that it is beyond the three modes of material nature, it is eternal, it never comes into being, never gets destroyed, never gets harmed, right? Then the next line Krishna is saying, despite this contact with the material body, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. ना करोति ना लिप्यते, कि सोल ना तो कुछ करती है और ना उसमें लिप्त होती है, ना उसमें एंटेंगल होती है, even though it is in contact with the material body. So this is a concept we have to try to understand. We understand this part, the first line, right? कि जिसका Brahman vision है, transcendental vision है, they understand that the soul is Satchidanand beyond the three modes of material nature, and that this soul does not get entangled, neither does anything, na karoti, na lipite. एक बार next shloka bhi let's see a little bit and then we'll discuss them together. Then Krishna is giving analogy in the next shloka. He's saying, the sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. So he's giving analogy of the sky. Sky is everywhere, right? Sky is basically ether or space, right? It is everywhere, everywhere. This is also sky everywhere, and it is also coming in contact with the matter. It is also coming in contact with our body, but it is still all pervading. It does not mix with anything. It does not get contaminated, right? Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, although situated in that body. So again, we are coming back to the person with Brahman vision, who's a transcendentalist, high consciousness, does not mix with the body, although situated in that body, right? So इसका मतलब he is liberated even though he is in this body. So there are a lot of, our advanced devotees, like for example, our acharyas, our six Goswamis, or Prabhupada, right? Prabhupada's disciples, the whole Guru Parampara succession, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, everybody, Jagannath Das Babaji, all very, very advanced consciousness with the Brahman vision, right? So they are all liberated souls, meaning even though they are they look like they're ordinary person, they behave like an ordinary person because they're also eating, sleeping, they also have jobs, going to work. Prabhupada was a grihastha, he had a family, he had children, right? So look like they are ordinary people. He had a business, right? Pharmaceutical business. He's also having to use car or something to travel, right? He's not like he's flying, he's not just appearing somewhere in the room suddenly, right? But he's also doing the same things. Looks like he has the same limitations that we have, right? Why? Because he's situated in that body right now. So he's following the commandments of that body. We have to respect the limitations of that body. So he's doing that. But even though the jiva is situated in that body, he's not mixing with that body, meaning he's still completely in Krishna consciousness. Whatever he is doing for pleasure of Krishna, for pleasure of Vaishnavas and devotees. He's not doing anything for his own pleasure. He's in that way, he's completely liberated. He's meeting all those godly divine qualities that Krishna talks about. He has a transcendentalist vision. He sees Jivatma and Paramatma in everybody. So when he went to America, he's not disqualifying these hippies that, they are so fallen, they are doing drugs, LSD, marijuana, smoking, illicit sex activities that they cannot be given any kind of dharma. They cannot be taught any kind of Vedic hymns or verses and things because they are so fallen. No, he did not differentiate. He taught them every single thing, every single ritual that we did this morning, right? Offering incenses, flowers, blowing conch shell, using bathing conch shell, everything, Abhishek ceremony, teaching them Mangal Aarti, teaching them Gaur Aarti, Guru Ashtakam, everything. He taught them one by one. He trained them. So that means that that shows that a low level consciousness can come to a high level consciousness under the guidance of a liberated soul. But the qualification is that the soul should be liberated from whom you are taking guidance. Like here we are taking guidance from Prabhupada, right? Because somebody who is himself bound by the three gunas, the three chains, cannot free anybody else. Imagine if you're tied up to a pole. Huh? and you want to be free, will you ask the help of another person who's tied to the other pole, or will you ask help from a person who's walking free? Walking free, right? Because he has his both hands are free, so he can free your chains. The other person who's already tied up to another pole with the chains cannot free you. So a liberated soul can free you. That is why we see that in our Hindu culture, the everything got so contaminated, so destroyed, because the brahmanas were not pure liberated soul. They started differentiating between the people. They started following our great varnashram system was reduced to the caste system. Started differentiating. I will not give religion. I will not teach this person because he is a shudra. That person cannot work at my house. He cannot serve me food because he's shudra, right? And compare that to Prabhupada, who is teaching these people. They're not even chanting the names, nothing. They're not doing anything. The first meeting, he's teaching them how to make gulab jamun, how to make kachoris, and he's eating it from them. This is a liberated soul. So those other brahmanas, they're just brahmanas by name. They're called Dvij Bandhus. They're just brahmanas by birth, but they're not really liberated souls. A liberated soul will not free just, he will free everybody. He will free the whole world. Prabhupada said that, by Nityanand Prabhu's mercy, I will free everybody like the Jagai and Madhai. Everybody in this world is practically Jagai and Madhai, and I'll free up everybody. So that is a truly liberated soul. Internet connection is unstable. Can everybody hear? Okay, so that is the position of a true Brahman vision, person with true Brahman vision. And Krishna is giving an analogy of the sky. So that person is like sky, who does not mix with anything. The soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Okay, so let's understand this line. What does it mean? Soul neither does anything nor is entangled. हम लोग तो बोलते हैं कि soul is one of the doer. It is. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So first of all, if you go back to that concept of doership we talked about a few days back, couple weeks back, that there are three doers, right? The jiva desires, the Paramatma sanctions that desire, and then material nature facilitates and brings all the resources together so that that action can be performed, right? Like for example, we wanted to come this morning to do the Mangal Aarti. So we had this desire. Now Paramatma, if we have Paramatma's mercy, he will sanction it. And then only we will have the proper means that we won't fall sick that morning, we'll be able to wake up on time, our car will not give up, it won't start suddenly snowing outside or something, right? House is not catching fire. Like so many things have to happen correctly for us to be able to complete that action that we desired, right? So we are not the only doer. There are three doers, right? Jiva, Paramatma, and Prakriti. So that concept is clear, right? Everything is working together. But here, when it says soul neither does anything, it is talking about the eternal position of the soul. That in its constitutional position, Jiva does not have anything to do, right? Yeah. Yeah, if we are back with Krishna, there is nothing to do, right? The reason we are having to do something is because we are in this body, right? If I say I have to go to work, why do I have to go to work? Because I'm in this body. If I say I have to dress up, I have to wash myself, I have to clean my teeth, I have to attend to my kid or husband, cook for them, whatever. Why are all these obligations, responsibilities coming? Because of the body. The soul in its constitutional position has nothing to do. There is no work for the soul. Okay. So this way it means that soul neither does anything nor is entangled. So nor is entangled. What does it mean? That soul is not entangled. का मतलब तो है कि soul is not coming in contact with the material nature and not suffering at all. But we are entangled. We are suffering. So why are we suffering? Why do we always say but the jiva, we are entangled in this material world? We keep saying that, right? But Krishna is saying soul is not entangled.
I think the body is suffering, not the soul, right, Mataji?
Sure, but body is just dead matter, so body really doesn't suffer. It's still the jiva that we always say is suffering, right? Body is just dead matter. So why do we say the jiva is but the jiva? It's entangled in this material body, in this material world, and it is suffering because of this entanglement. But Krishna is saying it is not entangled. Yes, Vedhi. Yes.
It is because of the false ego that we are identifying ourselves with the body.
Coming into this mic so loud.
So I'm saying that it is because of the false ego that we are identifying ourselves with the body, and that is why we feel that we are suffering. So Mataji's answer was, pretty much correct in a way that it is the body which is suffering, but the problem is that we are identifying ourselves with the body, and that is why the suffering of the body, we think that it is our suffering. So that's what I understand. And this one more thing I wanted to mention is that when we say that the soul is not doing anything in the eternal position, it should not be confused with the Mayavadi philosophy that that there is nothing to do, that it merges into Brahman, and there is nothingness, nothing to do. The soul in the eternal position, when we say there is nothing to do, it means there is nothing that is nothing forceful that needs to be done. In the constitutional position, the soul is an eternal servant of Krishna, and it is doing whatever our constitutional position is in the supreme abode of Krishna. So you may be a parrot and singing for Radharani or whatever. So whatever that constitutional position is, it is the soul is in complete bliss in that constitutional position, doing whatever service to Krishna they have to do.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. Yes. So Mataji, yes, I know that you were on the right track, but this is what I was looking for. That the reason soul is not entangled is because it is identifying with the body very, very strongly. Okay. The soul is thinking, I am this body. That's why it is suffering. Okay. I will give you a couple of examples and that will explain it better. For example, let's say we are sleeping and we are having a bad dream. I get a dream that somebody is chasing after me and trying to kill me. So I get very frightened. I feel like somebody is harming me, right? But when I wake up, I realize that, oh, this was just a dream. Nobody was actually chasing me. Nobody was actually harming me. But I was still suffering when I was in that dream, right? Why was I suffering? Because I was identifying with the dream as a reality. I was thinking that this is happening for real. When that was going on, I thought really there is somebody chasing me and somebody trying to harm me. That is why I was suffering. So when we think that this body and everything happening to this body is our true identity, then we suffer. So it is very easy to say we are not this body, we are the soul. But to understand its true meaning is actually very, very deep, very, very hard. For example, another analogy comes is when you go to a movie, like we went to the play yesterday, right? People are We went to this play, right? Our kids were participating, and when Anastasia was happy, they were happy. When she was sad, they were sad. Now in reality, is something happening to us? Nothing bad or good is happening to us at all, right? Even to that character who's playing, nothing bad or good is happening. But because we are identifying with her so strongly, we are identifying that, oh, this is, her pain becomes our pain, her joy becomes our joy, just like in a dream. Similarly, in this body, we are identifying so strongly with the body that if something good happens to that body, we are very, happy and proud and blissful and joyful. And if something bad happens, then we are suddenly very morose, sad, depressed, angry, anxious, irritable, so many things. Why? Because Jiva is thinking, I am this body. And trust me, this is, even though we are sadhakas, we are chanting, this is our base problem, that every day we are still identifying with our body a lot. So even though Prabhupada keeps saying this in every other verse, in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everywhere we keep reading this point is very, very hard, because false ego where the soul thinks, the jiva thinks that it is this body, is very, very hard to understand, very, very hard to conquer, to get over that false ego. So false ego or ahankar is very, very strong. So that is the analogy I wanted to give. So basically attachment to this body is our problem. जैसे कि एक और एग्जांपल देती हूँ आपको, like let's say किसी का घर जल रहा है, not yours, किसी और का घर जल रहा है, आप बाहर जाके देखोगे आपको थोड़ा दुख होगा, लेकिन उतना ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, आप उनकी हेल्प कर दोगे whatever. लेकिन जब आपका घर जल रहा है, how hard it will be, right? You will be crying, shouting, yelling, right? Trying to save things, so much going on. Why are you worried so much about your house versus another person's house? Why? Because you're attached to your house, right? Similarly, the jiva is very attached to this body. So when it is so attached to this body, it is very difficult for it to dissociate from it and to think that I am Krishna's servant and not this body. So that is the biggest problem why it is entangled. So it is the attached jiva that suffers, okay, not the liberated jiva, not the one we were talking about before, the liberated soul. That jiva doesn't suffer. The attached jiva suffers. The baddha jiva of Kali Yuga, that suffers. So pure devotee is blissful. Pure devotee always say, I don't care, even if I go to hell or go to heaven, I don't care. He says, Narayana Parasarvik na kutaschin bibyati. Swarg apavarg narkeshu api tulyarth darshana. That swarg, apavarg, nark, everything is tulya to me. It's similar to me. So if I am surrendered to Narayan, I cannot have any fear. Na kutaschin bibyati, does not fear. But the jiva fears who is attached. Okay, let's read two more and then we will discuss those. Let's read Bhagavad Gita 13.34. यथा प्रकाशयति एका कृत्स्नं लोकम् इमं रवि
Krishnan lokam imravati.
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं
Kshetram kshetri tatha kshetram
प्रकाशयति भारत.
prakashyati bharata.
Okay, would someone like to read this? I can read it. Yes, ma'am. O son of Bharata, illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity. One within the body illuminates the entire body by consciousness. Hare Krishna. Krishna is giving another analogy of sun here. We'll discuss this in a few minutes. Let's read another one. 13.35. Okay. क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा
Antaram jnana chakshusha.
भूता प्रकृतिमोक्षं च
Bhuta prakriti moksham cha.
ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्.
Ye viduryanti te param.
Would someone like to read this one?
Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body can also understand the process of liberation from bondage and material nature, attain to the supreme goal.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So let's just discuss these two, the last two verses of chapter 13. And Krishna is giving another analogy in 13.34. He's saying that just like the sun illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity illuminate the entire body by consciousness. So this is a very, very actually basic concept because when we say that we are this soul, not the body, so someone who's a new person might ask you, what is the proof? Have you seen the soul? Has anybody seen the soul, the jiva? We only see the body, right? We always see the body, and typically somebody who does not have any faith in Vedic scriptures or Krishna's word, he will just rely on his own senses. He will say, if I don't see something, I don't believe it. So you show me the soul and then I will believe it. You are saying it is so small, it is 1 by 10,000 part of the tip of the hair. I don't see the soul, so I don't believe it. So this is here, right here in 13.34 is your answer to them. What is the answer? Consciousness. That if, when you say somebody dies, right, somebody has passed away, somebody has left the body, you see that that person is still there in front of you. The dead body is still there in front of you. The body is still there, the body that you were having relationships with, communicating with, walking, talking, eating with, that body is still there. But that body is not doing anything anymore. It is not talking with you, it is not waking up, it is not eating with you, doing nothing. So what has gone away from that body? So the thing that has gone away, the thing that has passed away, the what we say has left the body, that thing is the jiva, right? The thing is the consciousness. So jiva permeates the whole body just like the sun permeates the sky. So एक sun होता है इतना छोटा सा पूरे इतने बड़े sky में and spreads the sunlight everywhere. Similarly, there is this little jiva, very, very small, very, very minute, infinitesimal. And it enters into this big body, and the whole body is pervaded by the consciousness, right? So that you are able to desire, you are able to perform certain actions, you're able to have relationships, right? The body that you see, each body has that consciousness inside it, right? Even plants, even animals, all kinds of humans, everybody has that consciousness, right? So Krishna is saying that consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul. And the jiva himself is bringing that consciousness inside, right? So when we say somebody has died, that consciousness has left, the jiva has left that body, and he will go on to accept another body now, right? So that is a very, very basic concept, but sometimes people will ask and we don't know how to show them the soul. But you can see the proof that the dead body is not same anymore, because something has left it, and that what left is the jiva, is the soul. And then the next verse, Krishna is saying, so those who understand all this knowledge, see with Gyan Chakshu, he says, with eyes of knowledge, this difference between the Kshetra and Kshetragya, between the body and the soul, and actually between the soul and the Paramatma also. So three main things we discussed in this chapter. The body or the matter, okay, matter can be body or Prakriti, right? And the two knowers of the body. The two knowers were the Jivatma and Paramatma. So three main concepts we discussed: the matter, the Paramatma, and the Jivatma. Body and Prakriti are both matter. The Jiva and the Paramatma are both spirit. So whoever understands this knowledge of matter and spirit, of Jivatma and Paramatma, of body and Jiva, all this knowledge, he will be with this knowledge he will be able to attain liberation. With this knowledge he will understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature. He will understand that I am bound here. अगर किसी को ये knowledge ही नहीं है, उसके लिए matter spirit सब एक जैसा ही है, right? So he doesn't even think he is bound. Somebody who doesn't even think he is bound, he is not even trying for liberation. So first of all, you have to have this basic knowledge to understand that I am bound. I am not this body. I am the soul. There is Paramatma with me in this body. Instead of focusing on the body, I need to focus on the Paramatma, and then that person will try to achieve liberation, try to free himself from this bondage of or entanglement of cycle of birth and death, right? So that and attain to the supreme goal, Param Dham, Param destination, Param Gati he will achieve with this understanding. So with this ends our chapter 13, Kshetra Kshetragya Vibhag Yog. Please everybody share their realizations, thoughts, questions, corrections, anything. Anything comes to the mind, please share. I can't hear anything. Either everybody understood everything or didn't understand anything. So here I'll stop the screen share. Let's see from especially our new people. Any questions, or there are many younger people in the group? Yes, Prabhuji. Nana Prabhuji, you're sharing something?
Yes, madam. हेलो.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
हाँ मैडम, ऐसे ही एक बार निरूपण चल रहा था, तो स्वामी जी कुछ निरूपण कर रहे थे भगवान के साक्षात परमेश्वर अपने शरीर में कैसे स्थित है, आत्मा कैसे है, परमात्मा कैसे, जीवात्मा कैसे है. तो एक भक्त को लगा कि सर कैसे हम समझे कि परमात्मा जीवात्मा अपने अंदर है, क्या उदाहरण है आपके पास. तो उन्होंने बोला कि आप एक काम करो, अगर कुछ हो गया आपको तो ये किसी की जिम्मेदारी न होगी, ये आपकी जिम्मेदारी होगी, आप समझ लीजिएगा. अभी ये बोलता है एक काम कीजिए, आप अपना नाक मुंह बंद कर लीजिएगा 5 मिनट के लिए, कर सकते हो. बोलता हाँ प्रभु जी, तो कर लीजिए. तो देखिए, तो उन्होंने जब कोशिश किया, गर्मी के दिन थे, अच्छा, तो अंदर से कुछ उनको मन में आया कि अरे मूर्ख, और इससे ज्यादा अगर करोगे तो मर जाओगे, तो छोड़ दिया. तो प्रभु जी ने पूछा कि क्यों भाई, क्यों आपने हाथ और वो सब छोड़ दिया मुंह से. तो बोले प्रभु जी, अंदर से मुझे ऐसी चेतना हुई है कि भाई अगर तुम और ज्यादा देर तक ये पकड़े रखोगे तो मर जाओगे, उससे अच्छा है कि तुम छोड़ दो. तो बोलता यही प्रमाण है कि तुमको कोई बताने वाला है कि वो भगवान ही था, क्योंकि तुम्हारा टाइम नहीं आया था, ऐसा वक्त नहीं आया है. यही है, ठीक है. बस हरे कृष्ण माता जी, यही कहना था, शेयर करना था.
That is perfect story, Prabhuji. Very intelligent. Yes, very nice. Yeah, Paramatma will tell you कि सांस छोड़ दो भाई, मर जाओगे. Very nice. Yes, Hema wants to share something. Hema, please go ahead.
So I have a question, like you accept, like, with Bhagavad Gita, it's easy, like the concept is acceptable. Ki there is a soul, there's Krishna, the soul, we should have a more like transcendental view. But it is so easy to forget it, like when you're doing the meditation in the morning, you feel all connected, right? And you feel everything is Krishna and we are all part of Krishna. And it's easy to relate to it and you're in that mode. But as soon as you engage in your day-to-day activity, within like an hour, you're like, you can do the prayer, you can take his name, but that you see him in everybody, it doesn't come, like it just doesn't happen, at least with me, not every moment of the day. So when I'm praying, I'm totally like connected, right? I have that mode. It's like, how do you make your habit? Is there a guide or a tool or something that you can get that feeling from within, get stronger and stronger, that you can see it that way? Because you feel it that way, you read it that way, but can you see it that way? Like I try to see, okay, this is the same person in the other person, and we are all the same part of the same supreme soul, but to see it, it's so difficult.
Yes, you've hit upon the main problem. That is the core of the problem. That is all of our problem. It's not just you. It's all of us. And I'll answer very short, but let's see what other people have to share. But Hema, this is very, very, very intelligent question. This is the core of the crux of the issue that we keep forgetting. So that is why we need constant reminders. Imagine that in a day you eat like 3 times, right? Two to 3 times, right? And sometimes even snack in between. Why? Because our body gets hungry over and over again. We keep getting hungry. We keep having to nourish our body over and over again, right? और कितनी gross body है. Gross things are typically easier to handle than things that are subtle. The more the thing is subtle, harder it is to handle, right? Like mind is subtle, intelligence is subtle, false ego is subtle. So jiva, which is so subtle, has to be nourished and fed constantly. जैसे आप अपनी body को खाना दे रहे हो दिन में 3 बार, इसीलिए रोज we have to chant. That is like the basic thing we have to do, है ना? and slowly we have to increase our ahar, our nourishment of the soul, right? So we have to okay, पहले आप जैसे 4 माला करते हो, 2 माला करते हो, right now some of us some are doing 8 rounds, we are doing 16, there are people on special days they'll do 25 rounds, 32 rounds. क्यों? भगवान से मांगने के लिए कि मुझे याद रहे ये चीज, so that I'm always connected to Krishna. I never forget you. Krishna, may I never forget you. So फिर दिन में आप क्या करते हो? प्रसाद खाते हो. When you eat prasadam, that further cleanses your consciousness so that you can stay in Krishna consciousness. You make food specially for Krishna. You go in front of deity. You offer pranams, obeisances, and bhoga. And imagine how much credit, spiritual strength you are getting. आप जैसे वेट लिफ्ट करते हो, शुरू शुरू में यू आर लिफ्टिंग ओनली वट 2 pound, then 5 pound, then 7.5 pound, then 10 pound, then 12.5 pound, then 15 pound, ऐसे करते हैं ना. Slowly our muscles build. ऐसे spiritual muscles also have to be built slowly so that we can continuously stay in Krishna consciousness, continuously understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Other jiva is also part and parcel of Krishna. We are all servants of Krishna. So every day, then what do? We eat prasadam, we chant 16 rounds daily. We are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class every day, and then every week we are hearing this Bhagavad Gita class in association of devotees. Devotees try to stay in association of devotees, not in association of too many karmi people, because then our mind is very chanchal. It will get contaminated very easily, right? So with abhyas, with practice, slowly our spiritual stamina, spiritual strength will increase, so that not only for that moment that we are chanting, but our duration of Krishna consciousness will increase. And ultimately, the goal is that at the end of our life, when we leave the body, we leave remembering Krishna. We leave remembering only Krishna. Right? So we have to hear about Lord's, सबसे अच्छी चीज है, hear about Lord's pastimes, glories, qualities, about his devotees, about his name, fame, incarnation, everything. Every day, जितना आप सुनो, सुनाओ, and life बनाओ. Okay, let's see if we have to start the Gaur Katha. So, but please everybody share. Okay, would anyone else like to share on this?
Just my realization, Mataji here. Hare Krishna. So, जो भी अनर्थास है हमारे अंदर, like you know, काम, क्रोध, मोह, माया, लोभ और मत्सर्य, ये जो है टाइम immemorial से हम लोग कलेक्ट करते हुए आ रहे हैं. Like we have been collecting all these anarthas from like I don't know how many previous births. So it will take some time. अभी तो हम लोग just शुरू किए हैं to get rid of all those things. So and Mataji explained very well. So it's just that की matter of time. अपने आप को और थोड़ा टाइम देना है, not थोड़ा, but I don't know, like you know, depending on the quality of our chanting or Krishna activities that we are doing. धीरे धीरे सब खत्म होगा, I think.
You want to share? Okay, it's fun to share.
Yeah, just same thing as Natasha and Nita Mataji explained. It's just like we say, even in material life, we say bad habits die hard, right? So this is a bad habit that we have from millions of lifetimes, that we are associating ourselves with the body. And this is a bad habit that's going to die hard, which means that we'll have to work a lot to keep reminding us. And even right now, even let's say we do 16 rounds a day, we are chanting 16 rounds. That's how much, just like you said, we remember in the morning for 1 hour, 2 hours about Krishna. But rest of the 22 hours, we are in the material life. We are still not, we are more relating to the body, or in our work, in everything, we are more relating to the body. So we are spending still a very small percentage of the time when we are really thinking of ourselves as the servant of Krishna, or as this jiva, and not really. We are more relating with the body than with the jiva or the soul. So it is difficult. That's why it is very difficult. And and that is exactly, I think, what you said, that it is difficult and for all of us, because we are just conditioned for so many lifetimes to identify with the with the body itself, that it's a difficult task, and that's why this nice process has been given by Srila Prabhupada, who is a liberated soul. That so a complete process has been given, because it is very difficult, just like you said, that it can't be just fixed instantaneously. We have to just start the process, keep at the process, and have faith in the process. Just like in anything else, like medical school wasn't easy. First day when we came to the medical school, we didn't have all the knowledge. When we looked at the books, they looked too big to be able to understand. But eventually, we kept on with the process. We had faith in the process. We have seen others who have followed the same path and they have got through. So similarly, in this way, in this path also, this is much more important, that so we have to again follow the path which other senior devotees are following, take their guidance, be an association of devotees. Like, right, if we when medical school we were associating with other medical students who were, giving the same exam or other things. So it keeps us in that consciousness of that, okay, it's time for the exam. But if, let's say, I am I'm in medical college, but I'm associating with somebody from other college whose exam is at different time or doing other things, then that's not going to work. So that's why association is very important. Chanting is very important. The more we chant and the more we pray, the higher the chances are that we'll be able to keep on with the process.
ये realization जैसे कि बहुत लोगों को नहीं होता है कि they don't realize even this thing, but now since we realize the problem is identified, so solution will be easier.
Does that answer, Hema, somewhat? Okay, all right. So, so this is what we will do. We'll talk a little bit about Gaur Katha, but I will stop here. And please read this chapter. We won't have Bhagavad Gita class, at least one next time, maybe two times, and then we will do a Kahoot quiz sometime. Maybe one time, and then we'll do Kahoot quiz. We'll talk about it. So please read so we can do Kahoot quiz next time. There is ample time in between. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.